Hello, everybody out in grip world. This is Napalm Jedd Johnson, and that was a little impersonation of Val Venus, an old pro wrestler from the late 90s. And I'm joined today by... Wait, I'm not joined by anybody today because this is just a random episode of This Week in Grip, and I'm flying solo. Actually, the truth is we tried to put one together this weekend, and everybody's schedules were pretty crazy. I had a 2-day marketing seminar that I went to. Alan had a bunch of stuff going on. Ricardo had stuff going on. And I finally said, well, your guys are going to have to do one without me because it's just not going to work. And then they tried to put it together, and they couldn't make it happen either. So I just thought I'd sit down and do one right now while I had some time. This is episode 50, the big 5-0, everybody. And I invite you to go back and check out episode 49, which was a nice short show that Alan and I did together. We do get some feedback that the shows are too long, but we like talking, I guess, and we try to cover everything as much as we can. So they do end up a little bit longer. But if you listen to 49, you'll hear how I listen to my long podcast that I listen to. The one that I really like is Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. It's a pro wrestling podcast, and those are often over 2 hours long, sometimes 3. So if you listen to episode 49, I tell you how you can use the history function on the YouTube app, and it's real handy. Before you do that and go back and listen to 49, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell here so you know any time that a new episode of This Week in Grip comes out or if other videos go up. And I've actually been stockpiling some Q&A videos that will start coming out real soon. So you don't want to miss those. They're mostly about grip training, some muscle building and stuff, but most of them are about grip training. Some other things. One thing real important, I'll be releasing a new grip workout here pretty soon, and it's going to help you prepare for the Crush to Dust Challenge, which has been really popular as far as training goals with a lot of my clients. I'm helping one of them in particular, met Tia Crispino from Italy with his CTD goals, and he's been seeing some progress using that as part of the elements of his program that we're working on, and especially the Rolling Thunder. And he's also had a big explosion in wrist strength, which helped him bend a gold nail with no warm-up recently. So I know this is going to help a lot of people. I don't want anybody to miss it. And it's going to be especially valuable for that dreaded Rolling Thunder lift of 200 pounds. So everybody stay tuned for that. It'll be coming your way soon. Before I get started with this new episode, I just want to say thank you once again to our sponsor, Muscle Farm. And they've been sending out product packages to the winner of the drawing each week. And winning is real easy, guys. All you have to do, 2 things. First, you have to like and comment here on YouTube below the video. And second, go to the Instagram page for North American Grip Sport, which is Grip Sport IG. Follow that page and like the post for this show as well. So I haven't done the winner for episode 49 as of this intro to episode 50, but I plan on doing that tonight, getting it to Muscle Farm so the winner can get their supplements, which I see they've been getting bars, which have been getting really good feedback. So thanks again, Muscle Farm. I just did a little search on Instagram to look at the hashtag This Week in Grip, which is the one that we look for when we run down feats. Last time we did an episode, we were at 1084. This time, all the way up to 1246, 1,246 posts. That's awesome. That is incredible. And that's just on Instagram. So I don't even know how to check Facebook for a total number of posts like that. It's probably very similar, but I haven't looked. And I know that there are some cool ones there, too. Just now, before recording the episode, Jason Gillen reached out to me and showed the little promo video that he had done alongside Bill Kazmaier, of all people, Kaz, talking about his upcoming contest that's going on in June out there on the West Coast. So lots of great stuff going on. And remember, guys, the first rule of grip sport, you tell everyone about grip sport. So keep up the good work. For today's show, you know what? I thought I'd just talk about my recent training and how I've had it structured going into the Philadelphia grip contest that Luke and I and Joe Sullivan will be attending. It's on April 28th and 29th. The events are, it's really about half thick bar. It's Rolling Thunder, Axle, and Country Crush 2-inch handles. Then there's Pinch Block, Silver Bullet, and Hub. So those aren't necessarily the specific order of events, but those are the events that are going down. So I just wanted to talk about that, and also had an awesome workout this weekend. I was down to New Jersey for that marketing seminar, and, man, I didn't want to totally miss workouts, the workout that would normally be done on the weekend going into this contest. We're getting right down to the wire, so not the time you want to miss workouts. So I actually took some stuff with me. I didn't know if I'd be going to a gym or not, but at the hotel where I stay, I've had a couple workouts in the parking lot there, so I said, heck with it. I'm just going to do a workout in the parking lot here. So I took 102.5 pounds, and I took a wrist wrench and a pinch block, and I knew that weight would cover me perfectly for those two lifts. I didn't want to take the Rolling Thunder because then I'd need, close to 200 pounds, and I didn't want to cart that much weight around. So instead I took the wrist wrench, which isn't exactly the same as the Rolling Thunder, but it's good. It's better than nothing. And I took the pinch block. So when I got back from day one of the seminar, the sun was still up, but I had to take a big crap. I could not get training going before I got that taken care of. So I went up there, and by the time I was done, the sun was down. I don't want to make it sound like I was up there all night, but I was up there for a while. And when I came out, it was chilly, and the sun was down behind the hotel, and it was a big difference between when I went in the hotel room and when I came out, but I still ended up getting it done and even set a PR for volume with 90 pounds added. So that worked out pretty nice. Sent out I put up a little Facebook post about it. Maybe you saw it, and I hate missing workouts, even if I have to trim them way down and just try to cram something in and get something going. I don't like to miss the workouts totally unless I'm, sick or exhausted or, something else happens. So I was happy to get that in there. And that reminds me, I actually had a really killer parking lot workout back in the day, way back when I used to train with Smitty, in the old Diesel Crew days. I remember Eli being there, Eli Thomas, and I don't remember about Brad Martin, whether he was there. But anyway, I used to train at a gym in Horseheads, New York called Diamond Gym, and we used to get a lot of workouts there. Even though I lived an hour and a half from it, I would go to Sayre and then ride with Smitty up there, and we would hit the workout. Well, on this particular day, this was during the week, so I actually drove all the way up there. I think I left work early and went up there and trained. And when we got up there, there was something wrong with the power. The power was out, and they wouldn't let us lift in the dark. Like, I would have totally lifted in the dark. I don't care. But instead, they kicked us out of the gym. About 50 people in that big old gym. So we went out, and we were doing grip at the time. This was like 04, 05. And we went out in the parking lot and trained, and I remember that was just an incredible experience. We had music blasting in the car. Most people just left. They might have went and got a coffee somewhere or an energy drink, or they just went home and said, screw it. But we got a whole bunch of workout done. I remember throwing around either block weights to one another, or we used to have a 16-pound shot put that we used to do tosses back and forth. So we may have been tossing that back and forth, all 4 or 5 of us that were there, and then doing some block weights and grippers on the side. I remember we were listening to the Finger 11 album that came out, Finger 11, and I'm not sure what that album was. If you want to check that out, it was a pretty good album. I think it was their second album, but I don't recall exactly. But man, what an experience! I remember just killing it out there for like an hour when the power was out in that gym. So it was a great experience. All right, so enough about that. Let's turn the page back to present day. Like I said, we got this Philly contest coming up, 2-day contest. First time I've ever done a 2-day contest at one of these Fit Expos. So I've been trying to get as much work done and pack a lot of volume into these workouts in order to mimic training with some fatigue. So just took some notes down, guys, to share what I've been doing as far as, you know, not so much the sets and reps that I've been doing, but how I've been training it, the frequency, I guess, the frequency. So the first one I'll cover is Rolling Thunder. Bought a new Rolling Thunder, the new model of the Rolling Thunder, and instantly lost like 15 pounds off my top lift. So I had been over 200 pounds on the old Rolling Thunder. In fact, I've done 225 on the old new Rolling Thunder, and nowhere near that now. So I've been doing Rolling Thunder 2 times a week, and I've switched my training up a little bit. Instead of just doing a bunch of reps, I'm also doing a lot of holds. So this is something that I've implemented with a few of my training clients, and they really saw some good results. Specifically, Matt Brown, that I've been working with, has really excelled in multiple lifts by incorporating holds. Not responding very well to reps at all, but with the holds, the stuff that we were doing with holds, he really started to see some great improvement. And on the axle, he's up to like, for a while we were struggling to get him over 300 pounds on the axle, and now he's up over 320, 325 pounds on the axle, and that's mainly been from instituting holds. So I've been doing the Rolling Thunder a minimum of 2 times a week. There's been some weeks where I've done it 3 times in the week, but it's not the same stuff all the time. I'll do 1 to 2 drills, I'll do some reps, I'll do some holds, and I'm just the frequency is much higher than it normally would be, just because I'm trying to bring that up as much as possible so that I can be over 200 pounds at the competition. That's the idea there. That's the goal. Axle. Axle has not gone well, and I don't know why. Axle's always a weakness for me, but this time around it has been extraordinarily tough. Nothing is really going well. Even down to my lifting form is not going well. My hips aren't feeling right. I just can't get comfortable doing everything. I don't know if it's the new shoes that I've got, if they're throwing me off or what, but nothing is really feeling good. So I do one day where I'm doing, the full lift, pulling off the floor. And then I do another day where I work on holds out of the cage. And I can't tell you that I've seen any improvement whatsoever. It's just not going well. And because I'm so low on that, I don't plan on doing any more higher frequency or increasing volume or anything like that. It's really just token work so I don't backslide too much. Probably need to do more work, but because I feel that I'm at such a disadvantage on so many of these events, they're just not my events, I didn't want to put too much more time into the axle because it would end up taking away from so many of the other things as well. So that's my line of thinking on the axle. Let's go into the pinch block, the blockbuster pinch. This is something that I've probably done prior to this contest 1 or 2 pinch block workouts in my lifetime. It's never been something that I trained very hard at all. back in the day when it was the original pinch block model. The thing was so slick I couldn't get any chalk to stick to it. So it was very, very frustrating. Still, with the newer model, I can't get any chalk to stick on it either very well. The finger side's great, but the really the most important spot is that rounded edge of the block where the thumb goes, and I can't get any chalk to stick to that. It rubs right off. So that's been frustrating. But aside from that, I've been trying to train it similar to the Flask, the way that I trained the Flask for the King Kong of Grip in 2017. And finally here in the last few weeks, I've been seeing some PRs. I think I had 2 or 3 PRs just for max effort lifts on the Blockbuster Pinch last week alone. I haven't trained it this week yet. I did want to train the Blockbuster when I was in New Jersey, but because it was so cold, I just did the wrist wrench work and didn't end up going back to the pinch block. So I didn't get that in on that extra day like I wanted to. But what's weird is I got this weird callus, and painful callus on my left hand, and it's from the pinch block. So training it has been real painful on my left hand. I might be able to get like 3 somewhat comfortable attempts on the pinch block with my left hand, and my left is a much better pinching hand. And because I haven't been able to get as much work in on the left, and I've been getting more on the right has actually been surpassing the left hand on the pinch block. So it's going to be interesting when we get to the contest. I'm still not decided on which hand I'm going to use primarily for the pinch block yet. Usually I know in a one-hand event competition that I need to use either my right or my left on the event. And at this point, everything's so close right now, I'm just not sure. To top it all off, aside from just the weird, painful callus that I've gotten on my left thumb, 2 weeks ago I was doing this exercise with a rope. It's a bicep exercise with a rope, and you kind of work your way down the rope, and there's weight added on the rope. And somehow, not only did I brush burn both thumbs without knowing it, but I also split right above that callus on my left thumb, split a crack in my thumb on that rope. Didn't even notice it, but holy cow, it was deep, and that was painful too. So I've had to be real careful with that in my training so I don't keep splitting that open. So that's been tough. It's the left thumb has just been tough. So quite painful. But shooting for a minimum of 2 days a week, and sometimes 3 if I get it in. Sometimes I'm able to, if I have a lot of time, just get down into the gym and do some extra work. And usually the pinch block, that's a good time for the pinch block, and just do some holds or something like that. I think it's the last event in the competition, but I'm going to go ahead and cover the Country Crush now. It's the Country Crush with 2-inch handles, and very, 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 very intense lift. It's been very frustrating for me as well, because the rules are calling for a lockout on the event, and I find it impossible to lock out the Country Crush without touching against my body. So it's going to be interesting to watch the event go down. Sometimes the rules are written a certain way, but I see that judges allow something different. So if they say that no bracing is allowed or no contact with the body is allowed, and then people start doing it, then it's going to be a relief for me, because that's going to help out the lift tremendously. But if they're strict with the judging and don't allow it, then I think the numbers you see are going to be very, very low. Also hoping that there's consistency in calling the lockout, because man, it's just that hard. I started out with a questionable lockout at 315 in my training during this phase. I've since been able to work up a little bit so that 315 added.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's 335 added. 335 was like the max that I could get to lockout, but I couldn't pause it for a hold. Now I've been getting that. That hasn't been as much of a problem, but it's still in contact with my groin area, basically. So it's just been problematic. But I've been continuing to train it, trying to get better at that lockout so that whatever I end up lifting ends up getting, a good down call. And then usually been doing just low volume on that, not too high a volume, 2 days a week on the country crush. And that's because the last 2-3 weeks here I've had some knee issues. We were out doing a fundraiser, believe it or not, outside of a store for the local Little League. And I was standing against the wall, and I had my feet out from the wall, maybe 8 to 10 inches, and my legs were just totally locked out because my butt and back were against the wall. And I was talking to one of the other parents that were there, and my daughter came over and just totally fell straight down on my knees. She didn't trip and fall, but she plopped her body down against her knees in order to lean against my knees in the same way that I was leaning against the wall. And I'll tell you what, I don't know what's going on with my knees right now exactly. It felt for several days like she tore my left ACL, and to this day, over 2 weeks later, it feels like there's some kind of meniscus damage in my right knee, and my hamstrings and my calf insertions. All the muscles that cross the knee are just going completely haywire. They're tight, they're sore, they're activating when I don't want them to. I'm feeling tremors in the muscle, all that stuff. It's really been crazy. If I'm walking on uneven terrain, if I'm in a house and one room's surface is higher than the hallway's surface, let's put it that way, my knee goes out, I hyperextend it, it's locking on me, it's crazy. It's totally crazy. I'm saying this because the days after I train country crush, because I've got to lock those knees out, it's just hell the next day. It's just crazy. This is the craziest, probably, well, I don't know. I have this crazy injury where my daughter dropped her weight on my knees. And then I have the other one where I had to actually miss a contest because when I turned the light switch off, I pulled something in my elbow and couldn't even straighten my elbow out for 2 weeks. I had to miss Gripmas in 2012, and that was the year that Cody Burns broke the two-hand pinch record because of that injury. So I don't think I'm going to miss the contest. It's not that bad. It's just I don't know what to say about this knee. These both knees are just really messed up right now. Next one, I've got notes on the silver bullet here. Mainly been doing that 1 day a week. Man, I'll tell you, it's just so hard. That's such high stress on the skin, the finger skin, that I don't mess around with the silver bullet more than once a week. Definitely goal for performance there will be to get a legal attempt on the number 4. I don't know if I get I don't know right now off the top of my head if you need a minimum of 5-second hold. But if you do, and I only get 4 seconds, then I'm pretty confident that I can switch over to my left hand and get a good attempt on the 3.5. I don't know if I would be able to do the number 4 in my left hand. So probably if the number 4 doesn't work out, then I'm going to grab a 3.5, hopefully, if they even use that. I don't even know. I'm not real familiar with the rules, okay? But if they do allow a 3.5, then I'll grab that. If not, then I'll just drop to the 3, and I'm not sure if I would drop to the 3 right-handed or drop to the 3 left-handed. It might depend on what everybody else has done, to be honest with you. But hitting that 1 day a week, at most 3 attempts per session, depending on what gripper I'm using. But the goal there, absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, is to retake the world record on the number 4 with the silver bullet. No doubt about it. I know that right now the record is 19 point some seconds by, I believe, Jesse Pignonen. So that's what I'm gunning for right there. And then on the hub, talk about a sorry event. The fact that people are lifting as much weight on this as they are, and compared to my numbers, I feel like an absolute loser. Just pathetic. The most I have done in training, I swear, that I weighed was 66 pounds. It's just not going well. This is not a match for me. I don't know if it has something to do with the fact that I injured my right ring finger in November last year. I'm not sure, but I sure can't blame it on that. I literally just think that this is not my event. Really, a lot of these are not my event, honestly. This is not a contest that I would have, I didn't jump at this contest. This is a bunch of events that really don't go well for me. So we're going to see how it goes. I'd love to be up around 70 pounds on the hub. I don't know how that's going to happen. I have been training it at least once and try to get it in 2 days a week. I think there was a couple days where I didn't end up training and I had to skip a workout 1 week because I was just feeling exhausted. I don't know why exactly right now, but mostly 2 days a week, but minimum one day a week. But not too much. Trying not to do too much just because I don't want to re-injure that finger. The right hand is what I got 66 pounds with. I can't even get 60 pounds left-handed. It's not even close. So I don't see my left hand taking any attempts at this competition. It's all going to be right-handed. So I can't even split volume up between the two hands, really. It's only the right hand. Like there's been some days where I'll do right hand hub and then left hand wrist wrench, or right hand hub and left hand pinch block in the workout, because otherwise my left hand isn't doing anything. So it is what it is. I guess with goals, Rolling Thunder, definitely want to be up over 200 pounds. Axle, I'd love to be up over 400, but I just don't see how it's going to happen unless the axle just feels amazing that day. Probably be happy with like a 385 lift. Pinch block, it would be really cool to be up to 90. Realistically, I think I've got 85 pounds in me. Country crush, 350 would be really, really sweet. I've gotten that really close to lockout many times, but I think probably 330 would be a safer call. Silver bullet, the goal would be number 4 world record. If not that, then just a really good hold on the number 4. That might be good enough to give me first place in the event. And hub, I sure want to be 65. It would be cool to be up over 70, though. So those are some of the goals. Don't know what I'll get, but that's what I'm shooting for. So that's everything. That's everything for the contest. I plan on taking the inch dumbbell so that Ricardo can give it a try. I guess he's never tried one, or I know he's never lifted one. And the 1 inch that I have that's a Sorinex inch dumbbell has got a really rough handle on it. It's one of the easier ones out there. So it could end up proving to be a good inch for Ricardo to try. That's what I'm thinking. Now, whether I'm going to take that into the event center for the Fit Expo, I can't necessarily promise that, but I think we're all staying at the same hotel, so it probably wouldn't be too hard to just take the inch out of the car in the parking lot, in the parking garage or whatever, and give it a few goes. So hopefully it works out. I think that's it as far as my training going into the Philly comp. Maybe we can hear something from Ricardo when we all get together again. But that's it for now. So I just want to say, everybody, thanks for listening. And don't forget to like and comment here on YouTube. And then go and follow and comment over on Instagram at GripSportIG. That gets you entered into the drawing for the Muscle Farm supplements. I'll be picking the winner for episode 49 tonight. I'll be picking the winner for episode 50, the episode that I'm recording right now, in about a week's time. And you'll be contacted, and then you'll soon be getting a packet of supplements from Muscle Farm. So Muscle Farm, thank you for the support. Very awesome for you guys to come aboard. And don't be afraid to spread the word, guys. Make sure to spread the word about the podcast. this is where the world will find out about grip sport. Remember to use the hashtag #ThisWeekInGrip, and don't forget, we're doing all this to spread the word about grip, guys. And the first rule of grip sport is you tell everyone about grip sport. Thanks, everybody. All the best in your training. Take care.